there are many critics, right? Many critics, reviewers, influencers who have their expert opinion and they go around reviewing everything. I mean everything. They review parties, food, makeup, underwear, sports, you name it, they do it. And they all do it for free. Spend their time reviewing things and giving their opinion, and the only reason they do it is because they get a free meal. I mean, if I asked any of them to make me a scrambled egg, it'll taste like my shoe. You to join us as we taste some of the so-called best and the worst and the in-betweens of Colombo and give you a really honest, real opinion. So do join us, because we really will give you the good, bad, the ugly, the in-between and everything on what there is to eat in Colombo. So we decided to check out a new kind of place this time, a restaurant located at a different kind of setting, a place that has historical significance. I don't know if you've heard of Tintagel. Yes, that's right, Tintagel, not Tintagel, Tintagel. So Tintagel, if I remember right, is a name from either Greek or Roman or one of these fancy kind of things, So it's the name of this lovely location in Colombo. But it's also the former residence of Sri Lanka's late Prime Minister S.W.R.D. Bandaranaike, and the poor man was assassinated here. Yes, he was killed. Site of murder, but doesn't matter. I mean, now it's a beautifully restored boutique hotel, and it has this lovely restaurant. It's also the place where Prince Charles, that's right, the Prince Charles, the Prince of Wales, decided to stay when he visited Sri Lanka to celebrate independence. Yes, we celebrated independence by inviting our colonial oppressor. It doesn't matter. Anyhow, so Prince Charles chose to stay in this lovely boutique hotel in Colombo, Tintagel. And so we decided to check out Tintagel and see what it has to offer. It is run by the Gallery Cafe Restaurants, Paradise Road, Ashant Fernando. So we wanted to see what Tintagel had in store for us. So Tintagel is located in down Rosemead Place in Colombo 7. That's right, the hoity-toity area of Sri Lanka, Cinnamon Gardens, where all the hoity-toity posh people live. Sorry, I'm not trying to be a cat here. I once lived down in Colombo 7, but of course people have this stupid perception of this place, and therefore they assume anything in Colombo 7 is wonderful, including Taco Bell. Okay, forget it. So anyway, Tintagel is down Rosemead Place, and actually Rosemead Place, considering how commercialized Colombo 7 is these days, it's no longer residential, it's a frigging marketplace. It's like Petar, because every 5 meters is a shop or a restaurant. Anyway, Rosemead Place seems to have avoided it a little bit. So Tintagel is down at the junction of Rosemead Place and Vijayarama Mawatha, and it's in this beautiful setting. I mean, when you just walk in, it's like this colonial mansion. It has 2 turrets on either side, which is really wonderful. And it has that old world charm, nobody broke it down and built a bloody apartment, which seems to be the trend these days. Thank God, someone with a bit of taste. kept the beautiful bungalow as it was. So it still looks really lovely. So it's very centrally located, and I must say it's a little exclusive because it is technically in a residential area. That's right, a restaurant in a residential area, because we don't know what we're doing with ourselves. We are so stupid. Anyway, so location wise, it's rather, how shall I put it, it's in this little tucked away corner. Unless you know where to find it, you might not find your way. It's not brazenly advertised. There's no board out there or anything. It's just a very little small sign saying Tintagel. So in terms of location, it's very central. It's in Colombo 7. It's posh for those of you who want to say you're Colombo 7, and say you dine and wine in Colombo 7. So yeah, it's just centrally located. It's a lovely place, and it's a place that's like tucked away and really homey. And yeah, it's a great place to go to. So location wise, super location, very central. At the same time, a little bit away from the commercial hustle and bustle of the city. So, in terms of a logo, Tintagel is part of Paradise Road and Gallery Cafe, and they have this black and white theme. That's right, it's black or white. It's just white lettering on a black background. That's it. I mean, there's nothing else. It's Tintagel, a very straightforward font, nothing cursive, with serifs. So yeah, it's quite boring in that sense, but I think they just want to go for that very minimalistic Zen kind of look. So the Zen look says that you don't really get too decorative. But I honestly wish they had some kind of, imperial element to it, because it's Tintagel. It's a colonial kind of heritage house. It has history. It has an assassination there. So yeah, that in the logo. It's just very straightforward, black and white. Someone just put a font in there, Times New Roman, for all you know. There you have it, a boring logo. So the ambience of Tintagel, actually, I must say, is really quite lovely. It's a boutique hotel, as I mentioned before, but it does have this dining area. And we decided to dine outside because we wanted to, get some privacy. You don't want some breathing down your neck, sniffing around you, oh, can I help you? So anyway, their dining area, they have a narrow little room inside, which is a little claustrophobic. So we decided to go outside to the courtyard. And I must say, the place, it's so romantic. Actually, for those of you who want to take, your date and, enjoy romantic dinner, it's really lovely. So it's a perfect spot for like a nice romantic dinner date. Not a hot date, a romantic dinner date. In terms of the ambience, it was very dim lighting. So it was almost like, half light. We sat at a table that had candlelight, and there were like very subtle LED lighting around the perimeter of the wall, and there were leaves that covered the LED lighting. So it was really very subtle, very nice, very calming, warm kind of environment. And because we were outside, it had also the nice fresh air, the lovely plants, the little creeper. I think it was like a gum-miris palais running on the wall. Never mind, it looked really nice, So ambience wise, full marks for Tintagel, and really the spot to take that romantic love of your life to. So the menu at Tintagel, I must say, they had quite an array. Not too much. I think their Gallery Cafe has more, but they had entrees. Entree, please note, not starter, entree, right? So they had entrees, they had soups, they had salads, they had mains, and in that they had poultry, they had meat, they had seafood, and they had sides as well, and vegetarian as well. So quite an extensive menu, I would say, and they were all quite lovely in terms of the variety offered. Of course, sometimes I felt like the meat options were just too meaty, like, there's too much steak and sirloin and things like that. There weren't like basic, like a beef ragu or something like that. So I wish it had a little bit more meaty stuff in the meat section, but later on when we talk about the food, you realize it's quite diverse, and menu-wise, it was very extensive. Even their dessert menu was good grief. They had lovely, lovely options and quite a few. And their cocktail menu, that also was very extensive. They had an extensive wine menu and the classic cocktails as well as their signature cocktails. So menu-wise, Tintagel was really very good. So our first proper meal was the entree. That's right, not a starter, entree. There were these baked button mushrooms filled with walnuts and feta and wrapped in bacon and topped with a balsamic and walnut dressing. Oh my God, it was so good. I mean, I really loved the fact that because the bacon was nice and crispy, it's crispy on the outside and inside when you just cut into it, there was this like lovely mushroom baked with the feta and the walnut was so good. I mean, just such a lovely mix. And the balsamic on top with the bacon and the feta, it added like such a nice tang, it was like a different taste in there. So texture wise, it was like this soft texture with the feta and the walnut, and then the balsamic and walnut gave the kind of nutty texture, and then the crispy bacon, which is like so nice, like crispy on the outside and then soft on the inside. So overall, it was a lovely, lovely entree, and it was served with side of salad, like a afterthought, some lettuce leaves flung in with strips of, onions and bell pepper. I was like, what is this shit? I mean, it was totally unnecessary. It was garnish. They made salad garnish. So I ate the garnish also because I'm a fool like that. And no, I mean, that garnish should be just forgotten. But the button mushroom with the feta and the walnuts, that was spot on. Soup. So we decided to have this soup, and we asked the server what he would recommend, and he recommended us the mushroom soup. So we waited in great anticipation for this mushroom soup because it was with camembert crostinis. So I was really looking forward to it. And what came was this, this blackish mess. I mean, it didn't look too appealing. It looked like a mushroom masala. Not masala, like pepper mushroom. And when I tasted it also, dear God, there was something firing in there, and not in a good way. Oh my gosh. So it really wasn't great. It was very thick. Texture-wise, it was, it was smooth, but there was this kind of like slight spicy aftertaste. I have no idea what on earth it was. I was trying to figure it out, but then I had to eat that mess. And the crostinis were at the bottom with the camembert. I got zero taste of camembert, man, because that mushroom was out there to spice the world, and it wasn't impressing me at all. So it was really quite disappointing. I mean, I wish he hadn't gotten it. So in terms of the soup was very disappointing, very disappointing. So I decided to try one of their signature cocktails because I'm a piggy like that, and I really wanted to see what they had made. So this one cocktail really caught my eye. You know what it was? It was chili with siambala martini. Actually, no, it was a tamarind chili martini, okay? Yeah, siambala. It's become tamarind, So if anyone ever offered you a siambala martini, you'd be like, oh my God, no way. But if somebody said a tamarind martini, you'd be like, of course. Sorry, I'm being a up here. Of course. So anyway, the tamarind chili martini caught my eye because it had it obviously had tamarind. It had amaretto. Amaretto, I love amaretto. So I'm an amaretto ho, and I'm shamelessly saying it, okay? I love amaretto. So I really want to try something with amaretto in it. And it had chili, as in miris, chili. So it sounded really good. And when it came along, dear God, the rim of the martini glass, it was rimmed in chili powder, dear good Lord. So this is red color thing, it was like in my face. So anyhow, I tried it with that chili powder aging, and it was really quite nice. So the tamarind had this nice, that tangy and sour kind of taste, and that mixed with the chili, it was a really good contrast. So I don't know who came up with it. Maybe the chef made an accident and flung in tamarind instead of something else with chili, but it was a good drink. And the vodka was frigging strong, man. I think I was a little dizzy afterwards, but ane my amaretto, I had absolutely no frigging clue what happened to the amaretto. The thing couldn't be tasted at all. So it was like, no amaretto. So I was rather disappointed, but still, overall, a damn good martini. So the tamarind chili martini, thumbs up, full marks. For the main, we ordered this roasted butternut risotto with garlic, parmesan and toasted almond flakes. So the risotto came looking like a hodda. The thing was like flat, like a pancake. I have no idea why, maybe because their portions are small, but the plate was pretty massive. So anyway, the risotto looked quite nice. So it was a roasted butternut risotto. It had a sprinkling of parsley on top and the toasted almond flakes. But when I tasted it, the taste was quite nice. So you got little chunks of butternut also in there. You know what butternut is? No, butternut in Sri Lanka is batana. Batana, that is butternut. So we try to make batana sound very fancy and call it butternut. So dear butternut risotto was actually quite good, and the toasted almond flakes, I must say, added a nice textural difference because it was slightly toasted and crispy, and then that with the sort of, because risotto is like, sort of glutinous in a sense and heavy. And the parmesan, I did get the taste of the parmesan. The garlic, I had no idea where the F it was. Yeah, the f was the garlic. I had no taste whatsoever of the garlic. The parmesan also was a little stingy, They were a little stingy. So I wish they'd been more generous with the parmesan. But overall, it was quite a tasty dish and interesting. So I would say good main that we selected. So we ordered another main because we're greedy like that, or rather I'm greedy like that, and I wanted to try something else. So it had to be something meaty because the fish options didn't really impress me. So we ordered a roast pork with potato mash, sautéed vegetables, apple mousse and mustard sauce. So the plate arrived, was lovely, it was nicely arrayed. The roast pork was in slices and there was mustard sauce on it. The apple mousse came in a little kuppia and the sautéed vegetables on the side, and it rested on a bed of mashed potatoes. So my first bite, the pork did not impress me. I'm sorry to say this, I expected far better. It was a little tough. It didn't have any flavor. The mustard sauce kind of did a poor job of, trying to complement it. But when I did dip it into that apple mousse, now that apple mousse was really something else. So that gave it that nice, contrast in taste and the nice tang to that pork that I don't know, that pig must have been in a bad mood. He tasted really bad, or the chef didn't want to flavor it. So it wasn't too impressive. I mean, the mashed potato and sautéed vegetables were like, mashed potato and sautéed vegetables. You can't really write songs about it. So the mashed potato was creamy, it was nice. The apple mousse was the most impressive there. Pork, I wasn't too impressed with. The mustard also was comme ci, comme ça, so. So overall, I wasn't too impressed with that main. Maybe the chef was having a bad day or whatever. But yeah, that pork needed some seasoning, man. That pork needed its pork, So yeah, overall, it was okay. The apple mousse saved the day, Funnily, usually the apple is the reason, people are tempted, poor Eve and that whole Adam story. But in this case, the apple saved the day, man. So you don't need a doctor, you just need some apple to fix some people. My favorite part of the meal, the dessert. So out of their God, they had such an array of desserts. They call it sweets. I selected the Via Paradiso. The Via Paradiso, that's right. Via Paradiso, right? So the Via Paradiso had, what really excited me about it was it had black cherries, it had chocolate ganache, it had meringue, it had some coffee liqueur soaked sponge cake and tiramisu cream. And dear God, the first bite was so good because I got, I dug my spoon right in because I'm a piggy like that. And I dug right to the bottom and I got up the sponge cake, the meringue. The meringue was trying to dodge me, the damn thing was slipping around, but I dug in because I wanted with me. And I dug in and took the meringue, the chocolate cream, and I think the chocolate ganache had some rum in it, so it was so good, like so rich, and the taste is really, really nice. I was really impressed, and I love cherries. And these are not the usual, our usual maraschino cherries, though I love those also, though they're cheap. These are the black cherries, but out of a tin, but doesn't matter, it sounds fancy. And it looked good too, so it was in these layers. I must say the coffee liqueur soaked sponge cake didn't really excite me. It was like pankade, like some old sponge had gone in there, like an actual sponge. So that wasn't exciting me too much, but I love the textures of the meringue, the thick ganache, the tiramisu cream, and the cherry. So it was like a lovely mix of different textures, flavors all coming together. So I would say Via Paradiso, full marks, and so rich, so bloody. Price-wise, I would say Tintagel is not cheap. It's not a reasonable place, but I would say it's value for money. So their prices were everything from like 800 rupees upwards to even 4,000-5,000 rupees for some of the more some of the imported meats and the food items. But I would still say it's value for money because the taste is very good, except for that pork. And but the other stuff was really good. So I would say it's value for money. It's not cheap. It's not a cheap restaurant. It's not somewhere where you'd go when you're on a budget. You want to take somebody on a date when you're on like on shoestring budget, please don't go here. But for somebody who's willing to spend, who wants to have a good time, and for the ambience and everything, I would say it's value for money. So it's not a cheap restaurant. It's not very expensive either, but it is relatively cheap. Service-wise, Tintagel, I must say the staff were very attentive. So they're very formal style, like butler style. So they were in like traditional Sri Lankan butler style. So there's the sarong and like a shirt. They were very formal and very polite. So I was greeted very well. And even the guy serving us, our server, he was very polite, very nice, and he left us alone. He wasn't hovering around like a buzzing bee or one of those flies, like those gnats. You can't get it off, that thing keeps going, to swat it away. But no, he was not at all like that. And he was very sweet because we had all the privacy we wanted. Like I said, it's an ideal spot for a date, man. You can get up to some nookie there. Nobody will know because the guys leave you alone. They respect your privacy. So very good service. And he recommended food also to me. And the food came relatively fast. So in terms of service, I would say it was nice though. And I like the fact that they left us alone for quite an amount of the time that we were there. Overall, Tintagel was a lovely experience because the location, the ambience, the historical significance, the service, most of the food, that lovely dessert and that cocktail, all together I would say was a lovely, lovely experience. So I would say it's a really good place to go to. Just be mindful of what you order, watch the pigs. So all you ones looking for a place out there like peace in the middle of the madness, in the middle of the insanity, this is like a nice haven to go to. So overall, I would say Tintagel, really good. Because I'm going to head around Colombo and to all the restaurants that I can find and check out what's really good and yummy out there. So if you want to find out, stay tuned.